High-profile Ukraine peace talks collapsed after Marco Rubio and Steve Witkoff pulled out, dealing a blow to Kyiv's hope for a short-term peace agreement. The setback comes during a week in which the Trump administration has doubled down its efforts to push Kyiv and Moscow toward a truce. The U.S. has presented Ukraine and its European allies with peace proposals that both sides saw as unacceptable. The issue of Crimea is one of the most difficult points of difference to overcome, and Zelensky rejected the suggestion that his country would give up its claim to Crimea. Despite the collapse of Wednesday's talk, Putin is still planning on another meeting with Witkoff in Moscow this week. The French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot said Europe would attempt to make clear to the U.S. what their red lines would be in any negotiations and settlement with Russia. The high-profile talks aimed at bringing a pause to fighting in Ukraine disintegrated on Wednesday after Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff pulled out of the meeting. The collapse of the talks is a significant blow to Kyiv's hope for a short-term peace agreement. The United States has increased its effort to push Kyiv and Moscow towards a truce, with President Donald Trump promising to end the war on his first day back in office. Despite initial plans to attend the talk, neither Rubio nor Witkoff were present in London on Wednesday, according to a European diplomat. The British Foreign Ministry issued a statement saying that the meeting with foreign ministers was being postponed, with top officials from France and Germany also confirming their absence. Expectations that Kyiv and Moscow would make a deal to end their 3-year-long war this week remained low after the U.S. presented Ukraine and its European allies with peace proposals last week in Paris that both sides saw as unacceptable. The issue of Crimea may be one of the most difficult points of difference to overcome. Despite the collapse of the talk, Russian President Vladimir Putin is still planning on another meeting with Witkoff in Moscow this week, according to the Russian news agency TASS. The high-profile peace talks aimed at bringing a pause to fighting in Ukraine have collapsed after Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff pulled out of the meeting. The setback comes as the Trump administration has doubled down its efforts to push Kyiv and Moscow toward a truce. The talks were planned to take place in London, but President Donald Trump's Special Envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, still planned to meet with Ukrainian Presidential Chief of Staff Andriy Yermak, who arrived in London early Wednesday, along with the Ukrainian Defense Foreign Minister. The collapse of the talk suggests that the United States is increasingly disinterested in drawn-out multilateral negotiations and is not positioning itself as a neutral mediator. The issue of Crimea may well be one of the most difficult points of difference to overcome, and it remains to be seen if any formulation of a deal can effectively kick those issues into the long run. Despite the collapse of the talk, Putin is still planning on another meeting with Witkoff in Moscow this week, and the Kremlin welcomed the Trump administration's continuing mediation efforts.